This is the Global Podcast Network, where executives and professionals connect, share, and inspire. Stay tuned for the conversations that drive success.
I get excited every time we have a psychic on. I don't know. I do. You never know what's going to come up, the insight that you're going to get. And it's not necessarily about the reading. It's the information that gets provided that we can use to potentially find things out, see things that we've never seen before. We'll dig into that and much more. She is somebody who was born a psychic medium. That intrigues me. I'm going to learn more about that in just a few. Kim Allen joins us on the program. How are you doing today?
I'm great.
Lots to talk about. Really good. Really good. What's the difference between a psychic and a medium and a psychic medium? Is there really a difference?
Yes. Glad you asked that question, because a psychic, in what probably the easiest way to explain it, a psychic is a person who can feel the present, the past, the future. Okay. So that means that however we are receiving signs, of which there's many different ways. And so we will pick stuff up energetically, and that will be in that psychic realm of grabbing these things. Okay. And so then we go into the mediumship of it. A medium is going into a different dimension, pulling the energies from different places, okay, of the deceased, intergalactic stuff. We're going way out there. So, and it's all just energy. But a lot of people don't understand even what a psychic or a psychic medium is. A lot of people will even ask me, "Oh, are you going to read with cards?" Well, I thought you were going to do cards. And so, it's kind of like I'm supposed to come in with my gypsy outfit and hold my little crystal ball and tell them all these things. And I'm sure, even in my own upbringing, I wasn't exactly told, or it wasn't exactly explained to me. Those were kind of those faux pas things. It's like, you don't really want to bring that in. And so, we have grew up, I guess, in my era of really not knowing exactly what those things were. And so I grew up being a natural psychic medium. And so I came in with all this knowledge. I mean, I have memory of my grandma taking photos of all of, family relatives, and she would show them to me, and she would ask me who they were. I thought it was just like a match game, and she would write it on the back of who these people were. I mean, wild. I did not even know that that's what I was doing. This is just something I did with grandma. And other instances where I would just know things and definitely get in trouble for knowing, things that I was not supposed to know. And that's that psychic piece. And oftentimes we're not told anything about what that is. And my parents really shut it down. They were, doing their own lives. And so they had this child who was thinking outwardly and doing all these different things. And I kind of pushed the boundaries and limits. I have an older brother and a younger brother, and neither one of them were this way. So here I come saying, "Oh, yeah, you think you're going to scold me? Well, I'll tell you about your friend who's doing this," things like that. And I didn't know. And so I got in trouble for having a mouth. That was
a mouth and a medium mind, I guess.
Yes, and had no idea. And so that whole thing of picking up on the psychic realm, the intuitive self, the signs and symbols that we see, and then also connecting it to our deceased loved ones. So my grandfather had passed. My grandma knew that I could see. So she would say, "Where's your grandpa?" The funniest things. And I'd say, "Oh, he's out cutting wood." Well, go ask him where the screwdriver is. The man that's not here, but I'm going to go and ask him where the screwdriver is. I mean, I don't have to go. Well, he tells me that it's over here on the right-hand side. And that is how I grew up, but without knowing.
Wow. You didn't even know what you were doing. I mean, you knew you were providing some insight, but was it in your mind just kind of more fun, at that point?
fun. And also, I used to get in trouble for it. So I really didn't understand it. So I really did feel almost like a displacement
Mm.
in maybe I was odd or why do I know these things? I have so many different little memories. We used to sit on the phone and you had the long cord, and my mom would say, "Oh my goodness, you're on there forever. You're Counselor Kim." And I would not understand, but it was always this natural knowledge that I would have imparted within me that my girlfriends would want to call and ask my opinion about something that to me was very trivial and didn't matter.
Hmm.
The silly things.
So the psychic medium thing, if you were a medium, you connect in another dimension and with the other side, those who have passed on. And I would imagine that you can get insight about the future from our relatives. But if you're
Yes.
just, I don't want to minimize anything, but if somebody's just a psychic, they're getting that information, but they're not connecting to the other side, where the medium,
Right.
I would think a medium has to be a psychic because you're getting insight from,
But perhaps they don't understand it.
okay.
And so, everything, let's just say you're an athlete, okay? And well, maybe we all learn athleticism and we have this, but some of us are going to be more talented with it. And we're going to be more talented with perhaps baseball versus, being an extreme bikist. And so in these things, that's exactly what I would say being a psychic medium or a psychic itself is. Wherever we have our gifts and talents, like perhaps I can read people very well. Perhaps energy is very simple for me and I don't even realize that I'm doing it, which I do see a lot of people who have gone through a lot of trauma or are sensitive to actually be able to pick up those little things. They can scan a room very quickly, but don't even know that they're imparting all this empathic information and the energies very quickly. So that's always fun to work with,
Mm,
But aside from that, they also, when you mention the mediumship piece of it in asking our deceased loved ones about the future. So I want to kind of talk about that a little bit because oftentimes I do have clients come to me thinking that they need to get the knowledge that, for their existence from their deceased loved ones. What I really truly find is our deceased loved ones only know, as much as I guess their life, their experiences were to hold, okay, within that vessel, within all of their different soul experiences. So we go into the soul and we actually are looking there. Now, if I really want information about the future, I'm going to go to the higher realms and I'm going to go into these other areas where, when we talk about our masters, when we talk about our guides,
mm,
those are the references and those points or galactic beings because there's a different energy all around every single one of those things that I mentioned, but those are where all the information comes from. And it's also fascinating to me too. I mean, how as a psychic medium being born this way naturally, it took me years to actually understand what I was. And when I first came out about it, many people were like, well, we already knew you were psychic. That's not anything that was a surprise, Kim. And so for me, though, I had the question, I wanted to analyze everything. Well, but where is this information coming from? Why am I receiving this as what's called channeled? Did I go through an awakening? What are people talking about? What is this? So, and this is really kind of bridging that gap of the person who maybe go their whole entire life, they're 40 years old, and all of a sudden come to this place where they just go, I don't know what. I woke up one day and my whole life has changed. Spiritually, I'm connected. I hear things. I see my deceased loved ones. I'm doing this, I'm doing that. But we also, right now, have a lot of young kids coming in that are naturally intuitively psychic.
but the
So,
difference, I think, is it's people like you have opened the door where it's okay. Like, for example, older folks really aren't into manifesting. It's like, oh, touch that. Somebody younger, yeah, bring it on. Let's go. It's
yes,
there's no pushback. They're more open to it, and even just spirituality. Older generation just not feeling it. This is a little woo woo for me, but somebody younger, like completely open to it. Side note, kind of funny what soul comes back. I was in an event the other day, and there was a lot of like people in their low 20s, and this is a
Mhm.
complete digression, but it's funny. They're all holding old cameras, like the old digital cameras from like the
Oh,
early
interesting.
2000s, like late 90s, and like, what's going on
Mhm.
with that? Oh, these are in now. These are cool. I'm like, where'd you get it? My parents. Okay, yeah,
Exactly.
it's funny how things swing around.
It,
Oh,
and that's for us to continue to learn,
yeah.
right? I mean, if you look at how many times civilizations have repeated patterns. And so, yeah, do I want to go back and I want to ask my dad or my grandfather something? No, they're going to be more concerned about why you haven't changed your tires or what you're not doing in your present day. They are saying, I mean, that's their future, right? To protect and to hold this energy bubble around you, to guide and steer you in certain ways. But they also know you're supposed to be doing something much larger for your soul purpose. So their imparted knowledge is so minimum, you know?
Mm.
And so it's fascinating because it's there's just so much more knowledge out there, I guess would be the big thing.
How
And
do we connect with the spirit team, the spirit guides that you mentioned?
yes,
How do we do that?
great question. And I oftentimes feel like we all struggle in this. So we are in a very busy world. And, I will tell you, like, my ideas are probably unique and different in to what this really truly is, because I do really believe that we are psychic mediums, every single one of us, no matter what, we're all psychic. And like I said, different levels. But to connect, it's so important that you have the intention first. Okay, you talked about manifesting, like briefly put that in there.
Hmm.
Well, whatever we want, we can bring in, and it's all energy. So if we believe, then automatically that intention gets set. Then that moves things, that energetic wave, into a momentum. And then we have to also like set the pace, the tone. We have to understand what gives us ritual, what gives us silence, how we're going to listen, because many times you will hear a spiritual person tell you to meditate and you're going to be connected. That all of a sudden you're just going to be tuned in and everything's going to be great. And I cannot tell you how many people come to me and say, well, I've tried to meditate and I just can't do it. Well, in today's world, our minds are very busy.
Mm.
So I teach that where you find your inner silence, where we have that unconscious competence, of which is that sense of when you're driving down the road and you don't have to think, any activity that is of such a way, then that is how we are tapping in. That is when we receive messages. We could be standing in the shower and you're putting shampoo in your hair. It's not like you're really telling yourself that you have to shampoo your hair or you have to wash your body. All of a sudden these things are natural and you're starting to receive messages that maybe you're just like, why am I hearing that? Why am I seeing that? What is this? Why do I feel this way? That's when you are tapped into your psychic self. That is when you are to, okay, I need to be listening. So that is it.
I applaud anybody that's even at that point where they're receiving it, they're open to it. What about signs and symbols?
Signs and symbols are absolutely a wonderful thing. It's a great thing that really kind of starts a beginner off, I would say, because it's a universal current. Okay.
Mm.
So let's just say that your sign, I mean, they say pennies from heaven, these things get passed on when nobody questions why we're receiving pennies from heaven. Maybe we want dollar bills. We should change it up and up the ante, right? I mean, come on, you
Sure.
know, but the whole thing, yeah, but we get stuck on these things. And so, what you choose for a sign or symbol is really true to you. You should test always the universe and say, all right, this is what I want. Bring it to me. This is what I want to know. This is going to be my sign for this. And this is how I'm going to move forward. And that is really your sign and symbol. We have so often let the world lead us by saying, oh, a hawk is my messenger that's going to tell me that I can see things far out and wide. This kind of funny little stuff that we do, which is fantastic and it's been there for a long time, but we're supposed to be changing our own consciousness. We're supposed to be growing to actually see what this is for ourselves. Our own truth is obviously not your truth, right? You are going to have a different truth. And so a symbol for me is going to guide my life and my soul and my purpose.
I want to back up what
Okay.
you said before in terms of signs and symbols. I get them all the time from my mom, and she passed about 6 years ago, a little over 6 years ago. And I've been getting them since the beginning, and I'm aware of them, but I don't get insight. I ask, for
Okay.
future info and things like that. When is this? When are you feeling? She doesn't provide that, but she provides assurance. It was the first time I ever got a signed symbol. There was a important situation going on, and like, Mom, just tell me it's going to be okay. Mom, just tell me okay. And she sent this, and it, spot on. Everything was fine. I I got one the other day. Can I share it with you?
Please. I would love that.
So I'm at the grocery store picking up something for my daughter, and I'm just vibing my mom, thinking about her. I'm like, I'm going to get me a treat. I'm going to get me a treat. It's a weekend. I'm going to get something. I have something sweet. I'm walking through and I'm like, what can I get? And I pass by the rack of Entenmann's cakes and cookies. Anybody knows
Yes.
it's a bakery. It's been around forever.
Uh-huh.
And I look down and there's raspberry Danish. And that was her thing. And every April on her birthday,
Oh,
I buy raspberry Danish. But I'm passing this rack. I'm like, "Grr." Oh, they
yes.
have it. They don't always have it. I'm getting that. Pick it up, got my stuff, check out, walk to my car. I look to the right and I have the picture, but you're not going to see it on the camera. It's not going to be clear.
Okay.
The van next to me, 8 feet away, the name of the company, it's an HVAC company. I've never even heard of it before. It's called Rose Dash Air. Rose is my mom's name.
Uh-huh.
So I'm like,
I just got
okay.
chills.
And then the final of proof, and anybody wants to dispute this, go right ahead. But I look at the time and it's 9:42 p.m. And I'm like,
Mhm.
oh, my mother's phone number was 631-942,
942.
number. I was like, gotcha, Mom, thanks. No, I didn't get any
Yes.
information, but I got, reassurance. Her energy's around. She is listening. She is watching. I've gotten other
Yes.
things before, but that's, I share it because we need to be open and we need to be looking for it. I might not have even seen that truck next to me, and I just went on. I might not even
Mhm.
realize the time. I'm not looking for anything. It just had to be 9:42, and I remember her phone number. Like,
Exactly. And
I don't doubt it.
thank you for sharing that, because this is exactly what you just described is exactly, we would say that the soul doesn't end, right? The
This
human
is
vessel disappears. Okay.
yes.
Our avatar disappears. But, and I mean, I call this the human vessel project because it is hilarious, everything that we go through. And at the same time, so you are the soul. You never lose the essence of feeling that energy of the soul. And so, how can that energy communicate with you? It's going to align everything just right so you can see and feel what was your mom to you? Comfort, right? That loving comfort. What is the one thing that we are truly supposed to be understanding here? Love,
Mm,
no
yes.
matter what, overall. And you bring up your daughter. Like, your mom would be thrilled at the fact that you are a good father. She is a family oriented, loving mother. And this is just me just feeling, of course, of how much she is proud of you. Now, you already know all of those things. I don't have to share that with you. But she is truly so over the top with you. She's right there. You are still like the cradled baby that she is taking care of. And that is interesting. When we talk about asking for those bigger symbols, we want more. This is a human thing. This is the knowledge brain that interrupts everything.
You
We
just made something
always,
clear. You just made something clear, and I didn't make the connection. I was in the store buying something for my daughter because she wasn't feeling well. And
oh, wow.
my mother's birthday and my daughter's birthday are one day apart,
Unbelievable.
the 5th and the 6th. So I didn't even think of it that way. I was just, walking in the store. But this has been in my journey, and I've, been connected to psychics for 25, 30 years. It was after my mom passed, just what you said came clear in that when somebody's gone, their energy is still here. It's
Hmm.
there's no denying it for me. I just I
Yes.
don't even feel like my mom's gone. It's like, yeah, all right.
Right. And that's beautiful that you have that relationship and that you've allowed yourself to open up in
I
that
I
expansive
feel
way.
closer to her now than I did when she was here, and we were fine. It was,
Exactly.
but it's a weird kind of thing. It's like
It's
calling a
hard.
relative.
Yes, and it is hard to explain. I would have to agree with you. I had lost my dad a couple years ago, and my relationship with him was up and down, but I was very close with him in so many ways. And it's amusing to me because I am closer with him now in
Right?
ways. Yes, and I mean, and this is what I do for a living, and so it's funny because this is what I do, and I'm connecting people all the time, but now, if I could just call on him and he's right here, they always have time for us. So, like, again, it's our own human knowledgeable, like this brain that we are imparted with of always being so linear and analyzing that gets in the way of actually finding the knowledge that we need to be receiving. And I truly do believe our world is going to that. And you're seeing it more and more, you know. It's kind of a ripple effect. We go forward a little bit and then we pull back and go forward a little bit because our world is trying to expand. And it's
Mm.
just like, it's kind of that breathing. And actually, if you feel the vibrational energy of the universe, it is doing this weird breathing pattern. But most people are not connected, Steve. And that is really, in essence, like my job. And I feel like this is why I am meant to do what I'm doing. I've worn many hats in my life, but it's never been true to who I am and what I am, right? Like we all have talents and capabilities, and you could give me any task, but that doesn't mean that I'm doing what my soul is meant
Mm.
to do.
Well, your purpose, your soul's
Yes.
purpose, right?
Yes. And when you align with that, it's like we become a catalyst for so much more. And so in that, expansiveness, I feel like I'm trying to open people up to see it's not all about I don't know, like our world is going through so much turmoil and chaos right now and such confusion. And I believe it's really trying to give us this sense of learning to trust.
Mm.
And it all begins with ourselves. I mean, everybody who actually has an intuitive awareness, they have to have learned to trust oneself. You have to
Yes.
have, right? It's that greater relationship to oneself.
I was on a journey, and the journey began right after my mom passed, and I didn't trust myself. I know it sounds crazy, but having
It's
full
normal.
faith, full resilience, that I
Yes.
got it. Like you got it. Something happens, you're
Yes.
gonna bounce back. You're gonna be all right. Many of us are like, I was that person, but I don't believe I would have seen signs from my mom unless I had trust in myself.
Absolutely.
And I didn't make that connection until
Absolutely.
you just said it. Mm.
Oh, good.
Seriously.
Yeah. No,
Wow.
there's just so much to that, to be very honest.
Mm.
When we see it all the time because we're not taught that. We have our regular school system and it's so minimal when you think about the vastness of our brain and the capability. And so it's not shown, when we are young, we come in, and I speak this often, that we don't have a system, right? We're babies. So how do we speak to our parents? And intuitively, this is what we're doing. Telepathically, this is what we're doing. A
Mm.
mother and father have that awareness because energetically, that is a piece of them. The soul has already imparted all of these generational things. And then we come in and we're, doing this. And then we get into the system where we get kind of broken from that beautiful, I guess, knowledge that we come in with. And we start taking it apart, learning fear, getting scared. And so then we
Mm.
have to come back to this place. It seems like once we get kicked out the door, right, as after you're going off to college, you do all your little independent things. It's like we start coming back into ourself again, learning the hard way. We can't really rely on mom and dad, or whoever, our mentor system, or those resources. And so then we come back into that solidness of loving oneself, knowing oneself, and expand again and learn to trust. Or you see others who are just
Yeah.
absolutely operating in fear and the knowledge base, the
Well,
human brain.
two words, and fear is everything. That holds us back, et cetera, et cetera. But you said two words. I
Yeah.
never put them together. You have a superpower of allowing us to understand. You said learning fear. I never thought of it that way. Wait a minute, you're a baby. You're born. You don't have any fear.
Yeah.
What's a fear? You have needs. Mommy feed me, things like that.
Yes.
But we learn fear, and that's a
Mhm.
shame. We have to unlearn fear.
But
We're
it's
just about out of time.
beautiful, though.
I want to just keep going with you. Like, it is just wonderful talking with you, and a bunch of epiphanies for me. Like things.
Oh,
I'm like,
good.
why didn't I connect? This to that. This is what you do. How do we find you, Kim? Somebody wants to do a reading, and I got to tell you, what you do, very affordable for the insight
you.
that somebody can get. Best way to
Thank
find
you.
you. How do we do that?
So you can find me at Psychic by Kim. You can find me on all social media that way. And you can also call me, and it's a 541 phone number, 840-0570, because I am a West Coast girl on the East Coast now. So, yeah.
What brought you to
coast.
the East Coast? Real quick, gotta know.
I had a girlfriend of 47 years, and I came back after 20 years of visiting. And when I step foot here, it feels like coming home, no matter what. And so I really do believe it's because the old country, I have a lot of, not going into too much, but past lives here. So a lot of
I get it.
connection.
I have a
lot of
silly
connection.
question, and I have to ask it, and I don't know why. What sign are you? Virgo?
Yep.
Same.
Of course.
Who's
Of
the
course.
Capricorn? I'm not a psychic, by the way. Disclaimer.
I have a daughter who's a Capricorn.
I had to ask. I wrote down Capricorn right there.
I
don't
love
know
it.
What the
I
hell's
love it.
going on? Like, I'm not a psychic.
No. Oh, well, I'll tell you, my youngest daughter, she is powerful beyond belief. She's 20, but she will outdo me by numbers, let me tell you.
I feel my daughter has intuitive ability. There's something there. I just know it.
Well, look at you. Look at you, Steve. I mean, come on. Undeniable truth. There's a reason that our direction goes in this way. We make pivots, we do whatever, if we try to avoid it, doesn't matter. You are on your path. And I have to laugh because you have this pink behind you, but all I see around you is blue. Isn't that funny?
I don't know.
Well, and I want to mention a couple things. And
Sure.
so blue being throat chakra, look at what you do. And also this green hue. So that I keep seeing, this is part of your aura, but it's that healing nature of which you use your voice for. And then I want to mention one really quick thing about your mom and your daughter. That was the month of 4, and then birthday 5 and 6. 4, 5, 6. Okay. And then the 5 and 6, manifesting number 11. So.
Oh my God.
Right.
We're out of
Feels
time.
all over the place.
We're out of time, but the number 11, you have no idea. And offline
I
here,
know.
but
That's why
you know. And it was my daughter, when 11 came up and has a very strong significance, she's the one that said, look deeper into it. And that's where I connected the 11. Spot on. I'm telling you. I wish
there
we had
you
time.
go.
We're like way out of overtime.
Well, thank you, Steve. I have very much enjoyed this.
Likewise. Wonderful talking with you. Maybe there's a chance if the universe says so we get together again, but appreciate it.
This is the Global Podcast Network, where executives and professionals connect, share, and inspire. Stay tuned for the conversations that drive success.